29th of May, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
We are back. And here's Lou. Okay. Welcome back, Lou.
Thank you, Rabbi. Welcome back to you.
Thank you. So we are holding on the bottom of Daled Amud Beis. And yesterday we read Rashi Dibra Maska Moda Mixus Have, right in the middle over here. And let's just try, if we could, to get our bearings and see where we're holding in the Gemora over here. Where does it say Moda Mixus? Over here. Oh, this is the question of Marzutra.
I have a basic question on the concept of moda mixus.
Yeah.
We learned that the basis of moda mixus was that he omits part because he doesn't have the chutzpah to say, I don't owe you anything. But
right.
in this case, that doesn't apply because he's not saying I don't owe you anything. It's not between saying I don't owe you anything and saying I owe you half. It's between saying I owe you 3 or I owe you 2. So how can moda mixus be involved? It's not relevant.
When he's he could say I don't owe you anything. No. Why can't he say I don't owe you anything?
He's got to say I owe you 2 because the star is there.
He says the star is a forgery.
But
Proof.
I think the question is whether if he says 3, then Rabbi Akiva says moda mixus because he admitted part. But he could have said 2. It's not that he could have said none.
With Rabbi Akiva, the reason why he's putter is because he's a Meishiv Aveda. He's volunteering to admit to something that the shtar doesn't even say that he owes. So Rabbi Akiva exempts him from a shvuah because he's got a status of a Meishiv Aveda. He's somebody who's returning a lost item that the owner has no way of recovering.
Okay, so I'm misunderstanding something here. I thought there was an opinion that said it was moda mixus.
It's true when he does say, when he says 2, we're calling him a moda mixus, and we're saying in addition to him being a moda mixus, he's saying halech. It's as if he said halech. He's not actually saying halech, but it's as if he's saying halech, because halech is saying that he's moda to part of the claim, and he's saying on that claim, it's here it is, it's yours. And so there's two opinions about whether Halech turns it into a case which is no longer moda mixus anymore. In other words, according to one opinion, it's no longer moda mixus because that what he admitted to. And he said here it is. It's right over there. It's in the star. And the star has a shibud karka on it, so he can get it. The plaintiff whenever he wants. That the shibud karka on the star is it's a done deal. So it's like that two that it says in the star is no longer part of the discussion between them, and then the only discussion between them is on the other three, and on the other three. He's saying he doesn't own any of that, so he's a kol for a kol on the other three. So therefore, he's not a moda mixus at all, according to one opinion. According to the other opinion, the fact that there's a star over there and the shibud karka, nevertheless, he's still regarded as a moda mixus. He's still regarded as a moda mixus. It's not regarded as though the two is out of the picture. The two that says in the star is still in the picture, and he's so in that he's moda, and the other three he's not. So he's a moda mixus. You're asking how is he regarded as a moda mixus altogether because the star is like a done deal. That's that maybe what you're saying really is like that mandomer that says it's no longer moda mixus. There's an element of what you're saying in that mandomer. That's what the mandomer says. There's not a case of moda mixus anymore. There's no discussion about those two sloim. He's already acknowledged them, and here they are, and that's it. That's the end of that. The two is out of the picture. The only thing that's in the picture now between them is three. So maybe that's really what you're that's like what you're saying.
Okay, that makes sense. So Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says it is moda mixus.
So what Reb Shimon Elazar holds about this case with the star is a discussion in the Gemora.
Right.
The Gemora first thought to say that he is one way. Comes out one way on that question, and then Gemora say no, not necessarily. Gemora was trying to prove because we don't really know what he holds about two because the Mishnah that we're talking about doesn't talk about two; it only talks about three. The case of the machlokes between Reb Shimon Elazar and Rabbi Akiva is about three. That's the case that the Mishnah presents to us.
Right.
And so the Gemara is trying to infer what would be why is it that the Mishnah is telling us about the machlokes between them when he says three? What would be? Can we infer what the din would be if he would say two?
Right.
So I don't remember right now whether we were bringing that as a proof or as a kasha on Reb Chia, right? Because Reb Chia is the one that says moda mixus together with a case of halech is still chaya b'shvua because it still remains essentially a case of moda mixus, even though the guy said, I admit to these two. And here they are. So he says, Rabbi Chia, that they still chayev to make modamixis because somebody who's modamixis, he makes a shua according to the Torah. So the question, our whole question over here is what do we say? Is he still chayev a shua in the case of where we got a case of halach?
Right. I guess
right.
what's bothering me is in all this discussion that goes back and forth between the opinion that says what it makes us, is it relevant, and the one that says it isn't because of halach. No one says anything about my point. No, none of the opinions say because
Just because of
it's embarrassment is not an issue.
Yeah, right. Because we're talking about the issue of halach, right?
Right. So I'm wondering, why doesn't somebody say it can't be motive mixus because there's no embarrassment here?
Well, let's see let's see what did we say over there? We said you're going back to ancient history over here on Daf. Where is it? Daf. We were giving a I mean
It's the very top of 4B.
Well, this question with this 4B.
Yeah, the very top of 4B, which brings in Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar.
Yeah.
And Rabbi Akiva.
Right.
And the issue of halech and the issue of motive mixus.
Right.
Isn't that the ancient history you're talking about?
No. The ancient history is when see the din of shvua modim mixus being chayav a shvua is a din Torah. It's learned out from psukim. It's really a gzeres hakosov. If you'll ask why it is that somebody who's modim mixus makes the shvua, the answer is because the Torah said so. Really, we have a yalfusa, right? The Gemora learned out from psukim that there is such a din that when he's modim mixus, he's got to make a shvua. So says the Torah. But what we were focusing on is that one of the Amoraim was trying to give a bit of a insight into why it is that the Torah what's the dynamics and the mechanics of shvua modim mixus, and that's when we got into this whole principle of that we had a principle that a person is not so impudent as to look at the person who lent him money in the face in the bezdin in front of the judges and in the bezdin and say to him, "I don't owe you any money." To be a kofar akol, but but to say that I owe you a portion of it when really he owes the whole amount of it, but he's just too embarrassed to say I don't owe you any of it. That he'd be willing to do because he rationalizes to himself that if I win this case, and then I'll I'm not trying to not pay him, but I'll pay him when I get the money. I don't have the money right now, so that's why he's a modim mixus. he would like really to be able to just deny the whole thing, but he can't deny the whole thing. And on the other hand, he can't. He doesn't feel. He doesn't feel that he's capable of admitting to the whole thing, because then he's going to be chayav to pay it up right now, and he doesn't have it. So but this is all really just sort of like, to give an insight into the dynamics of why perhaps the Torah gives a shvua in such a case where a person admits to half of the claim that the claimant is making against him.
I see. So since it's really just a side point, it's not the basis of the halacha, it can't be used in this argument. Is that what you're saying?
Right. 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 The insight is not gonna determine whether the halacha is like this or like that.
Right. Okay, I get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so okay. Um, where'd we get up to over here? Oh, let's see. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I remember that we read this Rashi. Rashi is towards the end, the bottom of the narrow lines of Rashi. Rashi Tibra Maska Mo the mixes Have. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines up from when the narrow lines end. Yeah, this is one long one over here. So what I'm trying to find right now is where that Rashi that we read, where it shows up in the Gemora. I thought it was towards the end of the Amud, but now I'm not so sure. The fact that it's all the way on the bottom of the Rashis is a bit misleading, I think. I think it's further up in the page. Ikademosif Misefa. Yeah, I think that's what we were up to. This is what we did, yeah. Okay, so Ikademosif Misefa is a little bit it's a little bit above the midpoint of the Amud. The first word in the line is karkos. There's actually 2 lines right next to one another, one above the other one, which the first word is karkos. We're looking for the second time that it's said that the first word in the line is karkos. And then it says ikada mosif misefa. I think this is where we were holding. Right, right, because right. The Gemara is now going to ask a question on Rav Sheshis, the Manda Omar, who says that Moda Mixes Sataina in the case of Halach is Potter. In other words, the Gemara is going to try to prove from this Mishnah between Shimon Elazar and Rabbi Kiva that one of them holds that Moda Mixes in the case of Halach is Chayev. So that would be a refutation of Rav Sheshis, who says it's Potter. Yeah, we did this before, but let's do it again because there's no way that we're going to pick it up in the middle and be able to understand it. So let's start from there. Ika de Mosif me Seifa. You see where that is, Lou?
Yeah.
Okay.
There are those who issue a challenge from the latter part of the Brisa, which states, Rabbi Akiva Omer, Eino Ella Ki Meshiv Aveda Ufatur. Rabbi Akiva says, the defendant is nothing but a returner of a lost property and is therefore exempt from swearing. Tama de Amar Shalo ha Shtayim Chayav. We can infer that the reason Rabbi Akiva exempts the defendant from swearing is that he admitted owing 3 salayim. But had he admitted only 2, he would be obligated to swear. Ha star kiyun deka modei bay ke helach dame. But the note recorded amount of 2 salayim that he admits is in the category of halach. Here it is yours. Yet he is obligated to swear. Shmamina halach chayiv. Learn therefore that halach, here it is yours. He's still obligated when he says halach. He's still obligated to swear.
Right. And so therefore, that inference that we've made here from the Rebbe Kiva will be a refutation of Rav Sheshis the Amora, who says that the case of, who argues with Rav Chia, who's and Rav Sheshis says that halach, the case of Moda Mixus, where the defendant says halach, here it is, he would be exempt on the shvua. He'd be exempt on the shvua. Yes, he'd be exempt on the shvua. Why would he be exempt? Because halach turns the case into a case which is no longer a Moda Mixus case, really. We don't regard it as Moda Mixus. We regard it as the 2 that he was moted to, based upon the fact that we have a star over there, she would karkos, and everything that we've said up until now. It takes those 2 out of the picture, and the only thing that's left in the case is the what's doing with the 3. The plaintiff said you owe 3, and as far as that 3 goes, the defendant has said, I don't owe any of those 3. I only owe the 2, and here they are. So if so, it doesn't have to make a shvua because it's not a case of Moda Mixus anymore. That is what Rav Sheshis hold, and that the Gemara is inferring from Rabbi Akiva. It must be that Rabbi Akiva holds the reason why he said 3 is potter because he's a Meshiv Aveda. Oh, that's the whole reason why he's putter, because he's a Meshiva Veda, because he said 3. Oh, that implies that if he would only say 2, that he only admits to 2, then he wouldn't be putter anymore, because then he's not a Meshiva Veda. Then he's just saying what it says in the star. Oh, in that case, he would be chayiv to make a shvua. Oh, really? Because he's still regarded as a case of moda mixus. So you see, the Rebbe Kiva holds that if he would have said 2, then Rebbe Kiva would regard the case as a case of moda mixus. And even though it's a case of moda mixus of halach, nevertheless, Rebbe Kiva will hold that he would be chayiv a shvua. And that's a refutation of Rav Sheshes.
Wow.
Like that.
Say that again 3 times fast.
Yeah. Well, it's actually one thing to just say over what the cheshbon is, but it's even harder to explain.
And it's even
That's why I said like we've said the last week about what halach is.
right. And as hard as it is to explain, it's even harder to understand.
Yeah, this is you have to. It requires analysis and thought. What exactly is this all about with this halach over here? Yeah, that's the beginning of Bava Metzia, halach. Okay, so so that's what the Gemora is saying right now. Now the Gemora. Oh, so okay. Now, let's read the rest of the Gemora here. So that's the Gemora set up the question on Rav Sheshes. Now the Gemora is gonna say no, not necessarily so. La'olam, really. Let's continue with La'olam. Phil, you want to read La'olam?
Wait a minute. Before the low you left out the word low. Let me find it.
Oh, low. Okay, right, low.
It's 4B2, right-hand column, second paragraph.
I see where it is. I'm just trying to find it in the Gemara instead of there.
I see.
Low in the Gemara. Low, right? Low. Really, you could say to you, I can say, I had my place 2 seconds ago. I can say to you, Shtayanami putter. If he had 2, he would also be putter. Okay. The putter, before he thought, well, the 3 was the case. Okay, so you don't do a shvu in 3. So 2, you would have to do a shvu. He says, no, you should also not have to make a shvu in 2. The high, the katani shalosh, and why did it be 3? La'afuki, min the Reshevin to exclude Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Shimon ben Elazar, the Alma that says motive mixas, someone who makes a partial admission, hama'aneh havi, needs to swear v'chayev, and he'd be chayev. A taina, he makes a taina, someone who admits partial claim. That's mixat hakatana, a partial claim. He'd be chayiv that he would have to do the shvua. Kamash Malon, so you learn from this the Meishi Vaveda that someone who returns lost object Ave would also be pater, from making a shvua.
Okay, this word have appears twice in this response that the Gemara is giving over here, and we have to focus on what is the Gemara saying over here. Gemara is not simply saying that modemixis is a case that's chayav shvua and meishiv aveda is a case which is not. That everybody agrees to. Everybody agrees to that. Those two things are clear. But the have is what turns around the statement that the Gemara is making. What the issue is whether this case that we are talking about with when he does admit to 3 instead of 2, is that modemixis is that called modemixis ataina have? Have means, is it called that? Is it categorized, and is it called that case of being a modemixis ataina? That's the machlokes between Rav Shimon Elazar and Rabbi Akiva. So here, what the Gemara is saying is that lo, it's not so what you have said. You wanted to say that the reason why the Mishnah said that the Brisa said that talk about a machlokes between the two of them with 3 is because 2 there'd be no machlokes. They'd both there would be Rabbi Akiva would say that there would be a chiyuv shvua because modemixis, it'd be a case of modemixis, and even though it's halach, it's still called modemixis, and he'd be chayv shvua like every case of modemixis. On that, the Gemara say no, you can't make an inference like that. Really, we'll tell you that emalach shtaim nami potter. According to Rabbi Akiva, if he says 2, Rabbi Akiva would hold he'd be potter in that case. He'd be potter in that case over there by 2. Because he holds, like Rav Sheshis, that modemixis ataina of halach is potter. Transforms it into a case where he's really like a kofar akol. But then the question will be, so why did the Brisa relate a case of argument about 3? Why didn't they relate a case of argument about 2? Why did he talk about 3? The Ketani Shalosh, this that the Brisa wanted to say a case of Shalosh is to illustrate that Rabbi Akiva is coming lafuke with Reb Shimon Elazar in the case of Shalosh. He's coming to exclude the view of Reb Shimon Elazar in the case of 3. That what did Shimon Elazar say in the case of 3? He said Amar modemixis ataina have. He said that the case of when the guy admits 3, it is modemixis ataina have. It is a case. It is regarded in halacha as a case of modemixis ataina, and accordingly, he'd have to make a shvua. V'chayev kamash malon that so the Brisa is coming to teach you that Rabbi Akiva disagrees with that. He's coming lafuke Rav Shimon Elazar. He says that when guys admits 3, meishiv aveda habe. He is regarded in the halacha as a meishiv aveda, and accordingly, like everybody agrees, the meishiv aveda is potter on a shvua. Okay. Now, so we read this Rashi modemixis have, but let's read it again because it's a good Rashi to read again, as opposed to a Rashi is not worth reading again. Chas v'shalom. I didn't mean that. Okay, so Lou, you want to read?
Okay, so modemixis have. Let's see, I had it before. where was it? Moda
Second,
the Ano Meshiv Aveda de Iromi my rim de dil chazke Bene'man. So but what makes us have a partial admission it is. And it's not returning a lost object. That he is deceiving. The Lechezka that he's presumed to be trustworthy.
Yeah, he's the Shimon Elazar and Rebbe Akiva are arguing about this case of the guy that says that admits to 3 when we got a star that says 2. And here we're saying that that Rav Shimon Elazar, he holds that case is a case of moda mixus have. It is regarded as a case of moda mixus, as opposed to being regarded as a case of Meshiv Aveda. That's what Rashi says. Ve'eno Meshiv Aveda. He regards it as a moda mixus case, and it's not a case of Meshiv Aveda. Why is that so? Rashi gives some explanation of why it is that we don't give him the credit of being like a Meshiv Aveda. Rashi says the Irume Kamarim, he's engaging in an act of trying to deceive us, that we should be machzik him, we should regard him and establish him as a trustworthy individual, a person who's ne'eman. Oh, that we don't have to give a shvuah to this guy, because look, he's volunteering to pay even more than what the shtar says. The shtar only says that he's chayav 2, and he says, oh no, he's chayav to pay 3. Yeah, but the whole reason why he's admitting to 3, you know why? Is because it's because he knows that if he admits to 2, he's going to have to make a shvuah. And like this, he says, you know, it's worth it for me to admit that I owe 3. So I'll admit that I owe 3, and then they won't challenge me about to swear to it, because it could be actually that he owes 5. But we won't make him swear over here in that case, because he's a Meshiv Aveda according to Rebbe Kiva. But Rebbe Shimon Elazar says, no, this he's a faker. He's really just an ordinary moda mixus guy, and he's just trying to pull the wool over our eyes, that he's a trustworthy individual and we should trust him and believe him that all he owes is 3. No, we know what he's trying to do. He's just a regular moda mixus guy, and therefore he's going to have to make a shvuah. That's what Shimon Elazar holds. Okay, next Rashi to Phil, if we have time. No, we don't have time. Okay.
Take care.
We got to where we got to yesterday, but we think we got it better.
Okay.
A great day to Phil and to Lou.
Okay, great day. Thank you.
Yes.